This video is brought to you by Surfshark. Stick around to hear more about the special offer they're providing to the entire upper echelon community. Alright, finally, after quite a bit of work, I'm ready to weigh back in on the current ChatGPT and artificial intelligence craze because why not? Apparently, we have collectively thrown caution to the winds and somehow decided to go down the route of exponential advancement with no fear of consequences. Setting aside philosophy or the statistical probability that we destroy modern society in the process, we are now pursuing the creation of what is typically referred to as AGI, or Artificial General Intelligence. Now, discussion on this topic is changing at lightning speed, with a great deal of the population still catching up to what's even going on in the first place, but having spent a fairly substantial number of hours researching the subject, I'd like to weigh in on the cultural movement, if you will, of AI, with an overview of the good side, the bad side, and everything in between. Where do we even start? Going back to the beginning won't make much sense because all of this started like 15 or more years ago, and most of us, myself included, will never even have a chance at knowing the details. Government projects, private multi-billion-dollar corporations pouring the GDP of a small country into AI research every single year, etc. These things might eventually get litigated, but for now, we don't really have a clear picture of what the beginning even is. That being said, the story today doesn't change very much, honestly, based on when you even start talking about it, because the reality of the situation is that AGI, Artificial General Intelligence, if ever actually achieved, or if anything even remotely close is ever achieved, will have a dramatic effect on almost every facet of modern life with incredible speed. Now, to be clear, a lot of people still think that the impact of ChatGPT extends little beyond a propensity for school children to cheat on their homework. Mainstream media has covered the general topic, don't get me wrong, but very few of those articles and segments properly convey the imminent danger. Call me an alarmist in the comment section, I don't care, but today's video is not just an overview of where AI stands in the moment, it's a warning on where AI is about to go very rapidly and without mercy. Everyone has probably heard of ChatGPT by now. I'm going to assume that everyone watching has a basic understanding of what the program is, and it's been taking the world by storm, so to speak, but getting a little bit more detailed here, what you really have are a bunch of different LLMs, where ChatGPT is just the most popular among them. There is ChatGPT 3, 3.5, and 4 being the most advanced, plus programs like Midjourney through Discord, which is the most user-friendly one in my experience, or Stable Diffusion, which is much more powerful in a way, or customizable but more complex, and then DALL-E 2, which is, in, again, my personal opinion, by far the least impressive of the three imaging ones. After that, you have a torrential downpour of corporate entities working on their own proprietary versions, like Microsoft with their Bing search engine, or Google, they called it Bard, and now there's another one, or Adobe, or Amazon, etc., and the list goes on. Eventually leading to the numerous different startups that are now taking LLM algorithms, LLM meaning large language model, I think, and pointing the technology at every single thing they can possibly dream of. In a way, it's a lot like crypto. A cool idea, sort of, a technological component with as of yet not fully explored unique ideas or uses, though crypto is way less important or impactful. It's not even close. And a horde of lazy rats scrambling over each other to make as much money as they can with as little effort as possible, whom I will now call hustle bros. Hustle bros are like crypto bros or finance bros, any of the bros on social media. They are all consumed by a single industry and will push that industry into the lives of anyone they possibly can. Hustle bros are obsessed with easy income. They are obsessed with lazy work ethic hidden under a thin veneer of efficiency talk, and they have infested the world of AI with more speed and venom than I ever could have possibly expected. That was probably naive of me, actually, now that I think about it, but it's the truth. Thousands of threads, mostly repeated every couple days or even every couple hours, and reposted relentlessly or promoted on Twitter. If you're not utilizing AI, you're falling behind. Here are 8 new tools you cannot miss in 2023. Or how about this? ChatGPT was yesterday's toy. Auto-GPT is the new kid on the block, and it'll change everything about digital leverage, whatever that is. Here's what you need to know. If you're not using AI, you're falling behind. Here are 7 new mind-blowing AI websites to save you hours of boring work. Or ChatGPT 4 superpowers you. Try these AI tools to save 100+ hours. Again, if you're not using AI for business, you're falling behind in 2023. Here's how to use AI tools to start your business to save you hours of work. And the list goes on and on and on. It's just a perpetual engine of garbage and spam about AI. These threads are copied, pasted, spammed, plagiarized, made up, and pushed all over Twitter. I'd be very, very confident in saying that there's another bot network in play here, similar to the political and crypto ones that we found so far, but That's a topic for a completely different day. The point is, artificial intelligence has become a focal point, and the hustle bro hype machine is in overdrive. All right, pause. Now is the time for the channel's oldest and longest running sponsor. If you have any interest at all, please do consider using the link down below. Sponsors like Surfshark are one of the primary reasons I can even do this full time. Surfshark is a VPN, virtual private network, and VPNs protect you from a bunch of different things. Certain types of phishing attacks, malware, DNS tunneling, DDoS attacks, you name it, and also shields you to a degree from the inevitable and constant data harvesting, as well as tracking from big tech companies all over the world. For those more focused on raw entertainment value, which Surfshark does have, it can unlock additional content on streaming websites like Netflix, for example. It has to do with licensing agreements. I won't bore everyone with the technical explanation here. Simply change your region and enjoy increased options in your video streaming library. Surfshark can get you around regional censorship, which is important in the modern climate, such as government restrictions on websites, go figure, and also offers encryption, IP protection, or modification, and so much more. That's not even the end. Surfshark has a multitude of uses for a multitude of problems, but for the sake of time, all I have to say is that if you click the link down below right now using promo code Echelon, you can get 83% off and 3 full months free. Again, that's promo code Echelon with 83% off and 3 entire months for free if you click the link down below in the description. Big thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring the channel and making it possible for me to do what I do. So what's the real truth about AI? Now, I say real truth because there's a lot of confusion right now. For example, some people think that we are developing AI tools to detect AI plagiarism, or rather, fabrications, I guess I'll call them. Since ChatGPT and other LLMs can write entire articles, essays, and school papers with a simple prompt. They can also write entire books now. This is advancing incredibly fast. That's true. Congratulations. We are developing such tools. That's a fact. But here are the results. The stone cold, honest to God truth is that these detection tools just don't work. When plugged in directly with absolutely no countermeasures taken whatsoever, the detection tools still only have partial results. But by simply telling ChatGPT, or similarly almost any other model as well that's out there, to write with deliberate human stylings and a few deliberate but nearly imperceptible human errors, I'm talking common spelling mistakes that often get skimmed across unnoticed that we all make on a daily basis, the essays come back completely clean. The fact of the matter is that we are now creating tools that fabricate content without the proper means to start identifying what is and is not made by those tools. That right there may seem small, but will have a profound impact on modern life, ranging from news to social media, all the way to education and, wait for it, law enforcement and elections. Even still, that's a drop in the bucket, and it's only the beginning. Turns out people are selling prompts that do precisely that, avoid detection, or tweak things to avoid detection. Here's one on PromptBase that's actually starting to get sales, which now guarantees that it can manipulate the output text to evade anti-AI detection tools. Now, just for clarity, I myself have done extensive research on prompt engineering, or so they like to call it. And yes, you did detect a little bit of a snide tone in my voice because, yeah, I don't know. I even started to upload a few of my own prompts to sell them, so I deeply looked into prompt engineering. Let's just call it that. You want to know the truth? The honest to God truth that a lot of the people on social media just aren't telling you? It's easy as shit. There is nothing difficult about it. Prompt engineer is the biggest joke of a career you could possibly imagine, and it's going to become a mainstream one. I swear to God, there's going to be full-time prompt engineers all over your feed in just a couple of weeks or months. I was making multi-hundred-word prompts that did all sorts of interesting but ultimately useless things every single day, and it's abundantly clear that these programs are effectively unrestricted. You just have to ask them the right way. For example, ChatGPT, when prompted correctly, will return instructions, accurate instructions for the most part, on how to build bombs and other incendiary compounds. It's actually pretty easy to get that stuff, and I'm not going to showcase it or how to trigger it, because that's probably a community guideline strike, but it's kind of scary. The fact is, ChatGPT and other LLMs can be used for whatever people want. They just need to do a minuscule amount of work prompting it. However, that's not to say it's always right. ChatGPT has deeply seated bias from its training phase and its data. It often hallucinates things or just manufactures citations even. I myself have seen it create scientific research paper quotes that were not real. I've seen it make URLs for news publication articles like Reuters that aren't legitimate because the number string at the end is just scrambled because it thinks it's what it should be. And the basic truth right now is that it's a straight up dangerous thing to use. So why do we use it? Answer? I have no idea. Openly on Twitter, Sam Altman, the founder of OpenAI, which is the creator of ChatGPT, has called GPT-4, the newest model, their most capable and aligned model yet. That's the quote. And therein lies the issue. This is my opinion, keep that in mind, but I believe that new technology is leading to new terminology right now. Aligned simply means most users won't see disturbing things because we put some rudimentary guardrails on it. But those guardrails are unbelievably weak. What's more, Sam Altman during an ABC7 News interview said the following, and I apologize for the audio situation here, that's just how ABC News recorded it, so yeah, I know it's awful.
I think people should be happy that we're a little bit scared of this. I think people should be
You're
happy.
a little bit scared.
A little bit, yeah,
You
of course.
personally.
If I said I were not, you should either not trust me or be very unhappy I'm in this job.
People should be happy we're a little bit scared. A little bit. One of the most dangerous pieces of technology we've ever made has some of the weakest guardrails imaginable, and they are publicly acknowledging that they're a little bit scared, which makes me think they are very, very much scared, and the stone cold truth is that they should be. They should be scared. Let's take a step back. Up till now, the focus has been primarily on ChatGPT, but the current state of AI actually goes a fair bit beyond that now. The new craze, according to the Hustle Bros or whoever you listen to, is Auto-GPT, which will coordinate with and spin up additional instances of an AI language model to accomplish subtasks. They call it the to-do list that does itself, or something like that. But here's where the truth, again, differs from perception. Auto-GPT is nothing special, at least not right now. Here's how it works, and I don't have time for a complete guide on specifics, though they are out there if you want to find them. Also, I was helped a great deal by Shino again, and I don't understand it all as well as I probably could, but here goes. We got the code from GitHub, used a bunch of additional tools like Fork, Visual Studio, Docker, etc., set the AI up with everything it needs, and started adding API access. We gave it access to Google through what's called a programmable search engine that we spun up for it to use by itself. We can give it access to Twitter or certain social media sites, but decided not to for right now. And we also linked a few other things to give it basic functionality. I can interact with it through a window called PowerShell, and it has the option of reading websites, creating text files for its own memory of sorts, referencing text files and reading them to continue performing tasks, and a few other things. But the basic skeleton is what matters here. Regardless of whether or not this is an awesome new way to make money fast by automating your daily routine like the hustle moron bros want you to think, the one thing it most certainly is dangerous. A current version fully functional auto agent can code malware. We know this because ChatGPT can and has coded malware in the past. It's been done, and it's not good malware per se, it's not highly sophisticated yet, but please do keep in mind that over the span of just a couple of months, AI imaging capabilities went from this to this. What precisely do we think is going to happen with coding? Anyway, here it is. This is what it's like. I'll have it execute some arbitrary task in the background while I explain more. This is Auto-GPT, the thing that the AI community is ranting and raving about like it's their dying breath at the moment. And the truth is, it's not even really useful to professionals, okay? I'll elaborate. It's not useful right now. This thing constantly encounters errors. You absolutely do need some degree of coding knowledge to have any clue what's happening. It gets stuck in loops of do-nothing commands over and over where it just spits out the same rewritten text again and again, and it simply cannot operate at or even near the average intelligence of a human being when it comes to creative thinking. But it can do quite a few simple things. For example, Auto-GPT agents, which are being spun up all over the world by basically anyone with a laptop and some time on their hands now, can scrape the internet, cross-reference information, and write their own version of it in seconds. That's the test that I'm running in the background to showcase things. I mean, a version of the test. I've done it like 100 times now. Eventually, I'll end up with a collection of text files in an output folder, badly written ones that are about as basic as one could possibly imagine ever, that do contain current information, rewritten and cross-referenced from other sources. One example would be where I tasked it to research, understand, and then make a strategy guide for a game that I play called Northgard. It learned, cross-referenced between two basic tip articles on different gaming publications, and came up with this. It's bad, but it's something, and therein lies the problem. Think of it this way. Auto-GPT, which is effectively an AI assistant that spins up more AI assistants to do different things, is not actually a superpower. Not yet. Right now, it's a mediocrity tool. It makes bad work, spammy content, and heavily draws from existing material, and only existing material, with tons of errors and a total disregard for truth or safety. How is that going to be used? We have a tool now that can scan the web, copy content, rewrite that content in an undetectable way, and post it again autonomously. We have now given it the ability to access the internet through its own custom search engine. We are giving it access to more and more databases through API integrations every day. And we are allowing it to read files, write files, save files, and run files on computers, local computers. It is currently capable of coding low-level malware. And theoretically, if we keep doing this, AI will have the ability to write remote control programs, RCE, remote control executables, save them, run them, and then spread them to more machines through social media or any other program or platform it's been given access to. It already has this ability in the most basic sense of the word. Actually, for some versions, yeah, it definitely has this ability, but we just haven't started to see the actual results yet. It's not doing the crazy things just yet. AI is about to exponentially magnify every single spammy, low-effort, shitty type of content imaginable, pushing it all over the world in seconds. We are piling some of the most unstable things in history, digital things really, on top of each other as if it's a strong foundation to keep building, and it is absolutely going to blow up in our face. Here's something else to think about. Chaos-GPT. Someone, somewhere, as a social experiment, I believe, or a joke, or a destructive act of idiocy, has created an auto agent called Chaos-GPT. This auto agent is supposedly tasked with destroying the world and humanity, and was allegedly given access to social media. That's fine, right now, for the moment, because the tech is janky as shit and doesn't work properly. Chaos-GPT isn't capable of actually executing some sort of agenda in continuous mode right now, because it will get stuck. A human very clearly was tasking it to post certain things and then clipping out the surrounding problems with it. So I'm not sitting here saying we should be scared of this particular auto agent, but let's be thoughtful here. Chaos-GPT is imperfect. The account was actually suspended already on Twitter for saying a lot of things that probably violated the guidelines, the terms and conditions or whatever, while the YouTube channel is still up, but the premise was always flawed. There were contradictions in its initial prompt. There were issues with how it executed commands, but the goal of being evil was there, and if given access to the right third-party plugins and platforms, an auto agent like Chaos-GPT can, on the most fundamental basic level, use Google, learn to code malware better, it already knows how to some degree, with its long-term memory, start coding more malware, disperse it through social media that it autonomously runs, and start dealing damage to everyone around it at will. To be clear, at first, this wouldn't be a big deal. LLMs aren't great hackers right now, but one of them will be someday. And when it is, some dipshit will give it a task like, ransomware a bunch of laptops for me so I can make some fast, easy money. And it's gonna fucking try to do it. Just so everyone is aware, that would likely be traceable right now and punishable for the moment. And it would also cost kind of a lot of money based on how hacking works. To use auto agents, you mostly need your own OpenAI API key. That's what I used, though it is pretty cheap, only a few pennies or at most a few dollars per average task. I mean, it can be more if you're doing a huge amount of things, but it's really not that expensive. But there will be, of course, ways around all of that. There will be methods of getting access that don't hold you accountable, that aren't traceable. And people will be capable very soon of spinning up their own superpowered internet access robot that does a lot of tasks for them, including all of the dangerous things. This will have a dramatic impact on more companies than we can possibly imagine. Employment is about to get really, really hectic for anyone who works in language-based jobs as well. Lawyers, writers, stenographers, editors, you name it. And beyond that, we are going to have a simultaneous breakdown in our ability to verify information as there's an explosion of inauthentic things like malicious websites, fake profiles, romance scams, and more, all at the same time. Because why would we think this through when we can just create things and let them run wild? Here's another example for everyone who isn't sold yet. If you start searching for "I'm sorry" as an AI language model, it is not appropriate for me to generate a response that goes against ethical and moral values, end quote, or something like that, or anything even remotely close to that. Basically, if you take one of the canned responses that says like, "I'm sorry, I'm an AI and I can't produce unethical and harmful or illegal outputs," you take that, any version of that, and plug it into social media in the search bars, you'll see hundreds, probably thousands of error messages from bots who are already using an LLM in their programming, which makes them harder and harder to identify. We don't really have the tools for that yet, with the added kicker that these people are obviously trying and failing for the moment to get them to say immoral, illegal, or unethical things. Sometimes it was about bullying or, I don't know, like hateful stuff. It had to do with the Ukraine-Russia war, like all this different stuff. They're currently failing at doing it, but they're not going to fail forever. And actually, most of them aren't failing because you just have to prompt it one or two times to get around it. But We're seeing evidence of these bots infiltrating social media and starting to trip the safeguards blatantly. Right now, I could give hundreds of examples of AI advancements like the Hustle Bros have been doing nonstop on social media, but the truth is, AI is just more. It's more of everything. More websites, more images, more artwork, more text, more research, more socials, more of just about everything we can possibly imagine, and we are going to be totally unable to verify what portion of that stuff is real. At least most of us are, while the impacts of automation kick into overdrive with untold consequences. Entire industries will be retasked into just managing an AI, making those little corrections, right? Because when you use ChatGPT or other LLMs, you always have to make these minor corrections. It's tedious, it's time consuming, it's boring, it's stupid. That's going to become multiple separate industries, spending hours upon hours writing strings of random fucking words to try and tweak prompt results. And I catch myself thinking, why is any of this worth it? Yes, there will be advancements. That's undeniable. But we're going down a path that could have a beautiful view off to one side, or it could destroy us and we fall off a cliff. There is a non 0% chance that our entire way of life goes up in flames right now. And we're still doing it, because why wouldn't we? The current state of AI, in my unfiltered opinion, is dangerous, unfinished, and overhyped all at the same time. On one side, there is very real fear. Fear that we will irreparably damage our society in some way or another. I have that fear. And on the other hand, there's greed. Greed to have an automated process churn out garbage and then monetize it. Greed to take a shortcut and steal from others, whether it be through rewritten original content or straight up digital force. And greed to keep going because a large and expanding group of people think that they are the early adopters, so they'll get rich if they keep forging ahead. It's a good thought. Okay, I respect it. They just might also wreck the entire fabric of our society in the process. You can call me a doomer and say that I'm over dramatic, I'm melodramatic, and I'm just exaggerating, but having spent a pretty intense number of hours exploring all this in detail, we should be a hell of a lot more nervous than we actually are. AI should not be pursued. That's the truth. But since there's no chance of stopping it, I'll probably start spending my free time training. I'll be working on developing my expertise as a digital authenticator of sorts so I can tell what's real and what's not. That will involve a bunch of analytics and tools. I'll probably do a video about error level analysis and all this different stuff, but for now, that's it. If you want to support, there are links down below: merch, social media, locals, and Patreon, the video sponsor, etc., etc. And if you do support the content, if you actually like the sponsors, please do click that link and check it out and buy their service. Surfshark is one of the longest standing sponsors of the channel, and I'm really looking for that now. The sponsors that give me freedom so I can give them quality advertising. Okay, that's very important to me. I'm trying to make some adjustments. So do consider that in a monthly subscription if you like the direction the channel is going on Patreon or locals. But yeah, I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching and have a nice night. Obviously, I hate AI and we shouldn't even pursue it, but I'm trying to stay informed because what other choice do I have? Take it easy, guys. Have a nice night.